If you remember, we went through these last time, but one of the things that I took, we had a discussion around this timeline, if you remember. We were discussing whether September was fine as a timeline, so I took the responsibility to speak through ground with the city recorder to see if we could move it to September versus no date published. Before there was no date published, there was nothing, but here the idea was to put September, if you remember, is really in an attempt to start with this work to select people and have candidates to apply earlier on in the year so that we're not scrambling the last minute. There was a discussion about the timeline, and the thing that I took away was basically with James to find out whether September could be accommodated. And my understanding last meeting was that it was just a tick in the box, meaning that August probably not, but September felt it was probably very likely. However, when then I followed up with an email, I received a slightly different story and recommendation from James. I copied it here on the side, but basically what he is recommending is to remove completely Section A and B, basically. So basically, fundamentally, what he's recommending is to not put any detail in terms of timeline nor process in the bylaws for what regards the selection and the criteria used to select new commissioners, and basically to remove all Section A, all Section B, and make it very high level. Basically saying we have some process somewhere, but it's not specified, and we make recommendation, and that's it. I'd like to hear what people feel about this. I personally felt that by having in the bylaw creates a structure and some discipline for current and future commissions from the perspective of how we handle this in ways that are equitable and fair and well organized and well documented. So the intention that I had with this was that removing all those points to me is problematic, but then again, I'd like to hear what the folks think about it.
Anyone have any?
Before you get to the committee, can I say something, please?
Yeah,
Hi, sorry.
sure.
I've been in meetings all day.
Understood.
So the process of initiating when applications are available is done by the city recorder's office. I would say something, I would not inscribe that into your bylaws because that's not into your purview. So I would say work with the city recorder, something to that effect, because he or she is the one that's going to initiate that. It will also depend on who is sitting in the chair. So what I asked recorder in August, I said, let's start the process for all the vacancies in September, because last year they just about rode me into the ground with all the interviews and everything. And I may be unusual because I would like to hear what I say generally all the committees, I would like to hear what people are saying. And even when I've watched it online, it's not quite the same. So I don't know if Rachel did that. I don't know what Dan did. I don't know what my predecessors did. I just feel that for me, it makes more sense that if I hear what the committee is hearing and just kind of, because I want to make sure that we get the best person possible for whatever the position is. And I know some of those in the past have been literally, the committee was, not a part of the process, and the person in the chair said, oh, I'm going to do this person. And they may not have been right at all for whatever it was they were applying for. And unfortunately, I saw that over my tenure as a neighborhood representative and then as a city commissioner. So I think that by saying that you're going to work with the city recorder to initiate the process, hopefully he will be here for a while and he will just enshrine, starting in September, let's let's get going with everybody so that you all have time and, we're not scrambling. I mean, I know we want people to start by, the January date, but, some committees we got 0 people, other people we just got slammed. I think there's 7 for the PrAC committee, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm happy about that. But, and then we, so a couple of the things we're doing too is on some of the committees, we're gonna do pre-screening. So you know how people will say, oh, I live in the city limits, and you look at it and no, they don't, we're not looking at their addresses, but somebody else doesn't go, okay, well, no, you don't, and they may not qualify. At least we have some leeway. So I think to compromise, so to speak, maybe make it more generic that you're gonna do that, the fall, whatever you wanna say, something like that to help you move the process along. Yeah. But I think James is trying to say, that's really the purview of the recorder.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would we just reword it instead of saying OCAC shall issue a public call? We would change it to the city recorder, or OCAC will work with the city recorder.
I would just say you'd work with the city because he's the one that has to put it out. Because the application, I don't, maybe Ann knows more than I. I know that some people have a rolling application, some cities. Apparently, he opens it and then you can apply.
Right.
Because I was telling somebody, oh, apply for such and such, and they went online and they couldn't do something. And so I had to say, hey, we've got this vacancy, we need to open this. So I didn't realize how.
I will say, from my perspective of applying this year, it was a little more complicated than the last time I did it. I thought it was ultimately good, but it just took me a while to figure out that there's even like a open and a like upcoming vacancy, like different tabs and stuff. That kind of threw me off a little bit. Mara, back to your comment, I kind of agree with, I think, your second bullet point, that it be more of the Arts Commission will work with its city liaison to coordinate with the city recorder on, promoting,
That doesn't prevent you from
Yeah, we
networking
can
and
still-
saying, hey, by the way, we're gonna have a thing coming up, and be looking out for the announcement.
yeah, we can advertise it
That's what I'm
ourselves.
doing now. I'm telling people, hey, it's coming open, think about it, it's gonna get in there.
So we're saying fall, we don't want to select a month, is that it?
Well,
Beginning of the fall?
You can't tie somebody down that you don't have
No, I'm
any
just saying,
authority over.
is this what we're recommending?
Labor Day,
Okay.
look and see what's going on and get them all out, so.
Yeah,
Basically to right after this point 6 says on the lines of the Arts Commission will work with the city recorder
Yeah, And
to
liaison.
identify new commissioners in the fall.
yeah.
And once selected, we can basically write something like that, and then we'll move into this point. The major executive will make the final appointment. Is that what you're suggesting?
We're not, he's not going to identify new commissioners.
Who?
The sentence that just got said, the Arts Commission will work with the city recorder to identify new commissioners.
No.
It's not
It's
that-
opening
To
the,
send out the
begin the
call.
to begin the application,
application
exactly.
Yes, to begin the recruitment process for
There you go.
yeah.
vacancies
Yeah,
or
just
whatever word you want to use. That's what it's going
open
to
up
be.
that.
And the
Application.
recruitment process is fine.
And that serves the purpose of us not trying to, again, have authority over someone we do not. However, it gives us a structure to move forward with, when new commissioners come in, we all understand like, oh, this is how
Yeah.
we're doing things. So
Yeah,
that-
I think it's good to
both.
have all this,
Yeah.
so new commissioners and ourselves like know what the protocol is without having to rehash it over and over
Yeah,
again.
that's right.
And ask the city over and over again.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Just, after that, the first meeting after Labor Day, just kind of really, as a group, promote people to submit an application. And if they come back and say it's not open yet, then we can say, hey, Jacob, do you mind switching that on for us?
Well, you'll tell
Or tell
whoever's
James.
sitting in that chair.
So may I ask, are we suggesting, just want to be sure that I'm following so I can do the various modification. So we're suggesting to remove all this section right? All of it. And then basically cancel all this section and have a sentence that says the Arts Commission will work with the city recorder to begin the recruitment process for vacant commissioners' roles in the fall. And then we can have a sentence that says the mayor will appoint
Yeah,
the
You
new
don't even have to
commissioners
say
in the
that, it's
winter.
already in the
oh,
code.
that's true, it's probably.
Yeah, we could say something to, during the interview process, the Arts Commission will put forward its recommendations to the mayor for consideration, in selecting the new
So
commissioners.
basically, we don't have anything written down anywhere that specifies anything about the process we wish to utilize as an arts commission. We're basically not documenting anything. Is that what you're saying? I just
I
want to
don't-
be sure.
I mean, we
I don't
can't.
know.
I don't think we
If
should
it's
take.
up to them.
I don't think we should take out, like, how does taking out the rest of it, like, achieve the
I'm
goal?
not, I'm just asking because I want to know.
I'm asking too. I think James, it seems like James' email, I don't know why he was just taking everything out, like, the spirit of the email was, we cannot tell the, city recorder to do things because we're not in charge of it. And so, however,
Here we were not.
talking about,
Apart from this first point,
right, so we fixed that,
the
right?
rest was not, had nothing to do with the city recorder. It was more about our internal process to.
Well, that does though, because we can't be like, we can't say each year we are issuing a call because we're not the ones issuing it.
No.
So that's the sentence that does need to change.
Yeah.
However, talking about how our internal process for like recruiting applicants, the selection criteria, all those things seem like good to keep so that we understand how we're doing it, which is the purpose of these bylaws.
Okay, so basically then what I'm hearing is here in point A, recruitment and application, we could substitute this sentence with the one we just wrote.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's the one that needed to change, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I'm
And
thinking.
then we keep the rest that is here,
I don't see how you can
which
do
it
that.
says here, the city recorder office manage the application process, right?
Well, but like the call shall include, we don't
Yeah.
control what the call
That's true,
includes.
yeah.
Has to come out.
That would have to come
But the
out.
review and interview process, that's
So we
internal,
remove
that's
this.
something we're doing, yeah.
I feel like
So remove all this,
having that
Yeah.
information for our just knowledge of what is gonna be included to have somewhere nailed down so new people can reference that and know like
But
what's.
we
But we don't decide what that criteria is. That would be the city recorder and what's ever on the city's form. That's something, I don't know if the city commission approves the forms that, the questions on the form for commission.
I don't know
Boards?
who did, it's,
It's just something that was
It's-
put together by,
it's been like that, I mean,
yeah.
I think when I applied for something, was that?
okay? So it
Yeah, when I
sounds
applied for
really
planning
like,
commission, it was similar. There was, they refined
really
it
we
some.
need to remove all this part over here. That's what
Yeah.
I'm hearing,
Yes.
right?
Well, there's
And
one
then we
question
go-
that I've got, I'm sorry, Daria, I can't see you, so I feel like I'm interrupting you a lot. I do really like the thing that I think you liked too, is that we adhere to a deadline. And that anybody who submits things after the deadline, that they're not considered. And we can't tell him that, but what are your thoughts on being able to say, nope, the deadline was midnight on the
You don't need to
3rd?
say that because
Yeah,
the
it turns on.
recorder's gonna put out when they're due, and if it comes in after that, you're not even gonna see it.
You can't see it, okay,
Yeah.
that's,
Yeah, we don't need to worry about it, yeah.
You don't have to worry about
I
it.
It
love
might
that.
also, the
Love
system
that.
might also be automatic where it shuts it off at that hour.
I love
So,
it.
I'm not sure, but
I don't do it.
I didn't test it.
I wanna test it.
okay, good, sorry about that.
That's okay. So then we remove that part too, and then what do we think about the rest of this section then? The review and interview, which is actually what we do. Do we want to, the way I had it, is that the city recorder will send us all the applications anonymized, and then we
Yeah.
start looking through them, right?
Yeah,
But number one,
Give it to
Number
staff
one's incorrect,
before
though.
you get it.
Yeah, it comes through city staff to us.
I mean,
Okay, so,
I think that first one has to go, but the second part, since that is just ours.
go on, there are two things here. Are you saying to remove this, or you're
Yes.
talking about
I
that
think
is
we
not the
have
city
to, but-
recorder's office?
We can say what we do.
I
for
say
the
the
next-
full number one bullet, B1 should all be removed. Because it's not anonymized, they sent it out to us with all the names and information on there.
Yeah, but I mean, can we ask not to have the information? Because the point of actually having a fair and equitable thing is that you don't make it based on the people that you know, but it's based on the application, right?
Well,
Not for,
I
Not for
I didn't know
commissioner
anybody
role.
barely, and I kind of like knowing it.
Yeah, I can see it.
I don't see when we're looking at
The
artists.
city recorder's office, they're not reviewing them, the only
Yeah.
thing that they're going to do is to make sure that if there's a specific criteria, for instance, the planning commission can only have 2 applicants who don't live in the city limits. So if they already have 2 people on the planning commission that live outside the city limits, then he's probably not gonna forward those on because they can only consider the ones that live in the city limits. So he's,
Yeah.
and, you know, it's just like when, it's like anything that they apply for, people apply for stuff. You know, we've had people from, I think the only exception we've had to the city limits thing is our historic review board, because it says they need a professional person that is in the, landscape, architecture, whatever, and that person can live somewhere else. I'm sitting here because I can. The thing is behind me.
So if I'm hearing so it was very hard to hear, but I think that what I'm understanding at this point perhaps needs to be edited, just to say that we basically receive applications and applications that have been confirmed as within the call, right? That have been approved, if they're outside of the parameters of the call, we don't even see them. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm removing all this. And then here we have point 2 that basically says that we would use our previously agreed selection criteria metrics to basically decide who to follow up for interviews.
Yep.
And then point
well, we would interview
wait.
anyone who submitted an application and met the criteria as, determined by the city recorder and city staff, right? So we're
that's not
not,
what we did last time, is it?
Yeah.
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
The only thing we said,
Interview everybody?
Yeah.
yeah, we interviewed
Yes.
everyone.
Okay.
But you don't have
Okay.
to.
We don't have to interview
Yeah, we
everyone?
don't.
You could pre-screen.
That's what I didn't think we
Some
did,
of
but
the
yeah.
things, some of the boards are, doing.
Oh, I didn't realize we could pre-screen, in terms of like us doing it. I
We
thought
did.
city staff and,
We're having city staffs pre-screen, so, but I mean, generally what has happened over the time is that everybody has been interviewed.
yeah.
And you guys, but I'm just saying you have an option, you don't,
If there were 12 people, for instance, and, we just did not have the time for it, it would
Yeah.
be helpful to go through a pre-screening process.
You can do that on a case-by-case basis. You don't have to enshrine it in there. You could just say, we've got 2 positions, we got 12 people. Who are our top candidates,
Yeah.
Did that.
Yeah, but this one, I think point 2 does not preclude the possibility of interviewing everybody.
Nope.
I think point 2, what it says is that we would use criteria and metrics to select applicants. If there's only 3 applicants, we will interview all of them, I guess, but
Okay, but correct me if I'm wrong, if we pre-selected, say, 6 of the 12, and then gave our recommendations to the mayor of those 6, the mayor could still go back and select from the full 12 that
Yeah.
submitted, right?
they
So,
could,
Yeah.
why, I wouldn't do that.
I know, and it might never be an issue, I'm just saying that,
yeah.
okay. No, that makes
I
sense.
think, the ideal scenario, I think, is that, let's assume the scenario where there are a huge amount of applicants, that would be fantastic. Then we received all the application from the city recorder that haven't been screened out because they are really not fitting within the normal basis of the call. And then out of those, if there are many of them, then we can have selection criteria and metrics to say, you know what, out of all these, it seems that these 10 people out of 20 are the ones that really actually stand out for a follow-up interview. And then we have a process for those interviews. Of course, then the mayor can go back to the 10 that were screened out based on point 2 over here, but at the same time, we might make our lives a little bit easier in the cases where there are a lot of applicants.
Okay. No, that's fine. It sounds good.
It's like a job. Well, I'd like to have that put in there, since it is a little confusing, and the next time it comes up, the mayor might not be here. So if there was a way to say that we have the option, but not the obligation
Yeah.
to pre-screen.
The Arts Commission
We
shall
could
use.
put this may use instead of shall.
It would be great if you had 12 applicants, that'd be awesome, but you know.
Daria, I think your point about using the criteria, that should be a shall.
Okay.
So I know I'm muddying the water, and I'm sorry about this, but this discussion was since a lot of us didn't know that you could pre-screen, having a sentence that again says we have the option if we want to, but not the obligation to pre-screen if we agree to do so.
So a new sentence.
So should we add a sentence?
Yeah.
Maybe we can put, while the Arts Commission does not have an obligation to,
Selects qualified candidates.
it
It has the option.
It has the option, thank you. It has the option to, there you go, to use previously agreed upon selection criteria and metrics to ensure equity in selecting applicants for follow-up interviews. Yeah?
No, the option to pre-screen.
It's two different sentences. We want to make sure that we
Okay.
have the agreed upon metrics. Great.
Maybe so then we
Option
have, so you're
to-
saying it's the option to select pre-screen applicants.
Pre-screen applicants,
Screen.
yeah. Prior to the interview process.
For a follow-up
I'm following us.
interview process, okay?
And then you can say, period, it shall use previously agreed upon selection criteria and metrics to ensure quality,
That makes
equity
more
in
sense.
selecting applicants for a follow-up. Daria, quick question while you do that. Is this the last section that you wanted to review tonight?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to review it actually, but it was because James suggested we cut it out completely, so.
Okay.
I wanted to be sure we
Understood.
were clear with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then
Thank you.
down below, section C, the only thing I would say is that, we might not want to put in November
Okay.
at a,
Fall meeting, no, a winter meeting?
well, winter technically is January through March.
Yeah.
I would say at a determined meeting or maybe not even put it in the meeting, the Arts
After
Commission shall
applications have been
interview.
reviewed?
Yeah, after applications have been reviewed.
Yeah? Okay.
Anything else in section C that people see needs to be updated?
Are those staying?
The rest.
Okay, because the agreed upon protocols, okay, that makes,
If we don't have a date here, is January then the set date there?
Yeah, it would be, because they would all start after January 1st, because the terms go.
But it says they take office in January, so
Yeah,
That's how it works usually. I
Yeah.
started in January.
regardless of, I mean,
regardless, but what if we don't get to the interviews until, like,
well, if we don't get to interviews, then the mayor would just make a decision without our recommendation.
okay.
Yep.
five
She was
needs,
saying some of them start later than January, so are we saying January is when they begin?
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
yes, because our terms are January to December.
Okay.
and I think, five needs if as the first word.
Say it again, sorry, I didn't understand.
It's okay, on 5,
Yeah?
you need to put if at the beginning of that sentence. Right?
A simple
Oh,
majority.
yes. Yep. Anything else?
Wouldn't it be deems all available applicants unsuitable?
Yep.
Okay,
Sounds good.
that looks good.
Thank you for all your
So-
work on this, Daria.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Just to close it. So what I'll do, I will remove I'm gonna send up a follow-up email with, all we discussed with this as is, and I remove all the financial section completely. That one will have to be done by someone else as a separate document. And then all the things that we discussed, I will have them, keep them as a red line. But I also do one without red line so that it can be, the clean document.
If you wouldn't mind you can remove the financial stuff, but just put it in another Word document and share it with it, just so we have that same language. We don't have to rewrite everything
I
later.
can leave it actually in the red line completely. I mean, yeah.
Okay, that works. In terms of next steps on this, so most of the changes in the bylaws that we had reviewed or I wouldn't say most, there are several updates in the bylaws that are tied to the proposed changes to the municipal code. So once Daria sends us the clean version stuff, we will maintain it, but until we know where the municipal code lies, I think we need to wait on approving the bylaws. We don't want bylaws that aren't aligned with the municipal code as they currently stand, what's being enforced. Does anyone have any questions or concerns with that? Okay, great. Again, Daria, thank you very much. It's been a very long path to victory here, but we got there. And couldn't have been done without you, so thank you.
Yeah, if you ever think that you just can't accomplish hard things, you just think about on this.
I've done other things in my life.
Okay, fine.
And more painfully than, incredibly enough.
Okay, so next up is the review of the objectives for the strategy document. So in your packet, you have the worksheet, which outlines kind of the goals and objectives, proposed objectives that we had previously discussed. What I'll do is I'll go down by goal, and we'll review kind of the intent of the proposed objectives, or if there are other objectives that you would like to put forward, please let me know. And then the idea is that once we agree on the objectives for each goal, we'll come back with a formally written objective. None of these are kind of exhibiting any kind of real metrics. I want to make sure that they do define metrics for us that we can utilize for measuring success in each of them going forward. So we'll come back with a full updated goals objectives list, but I just want to confirm that we're all on the same page about what objectives we want to go for. Amy.
So there are a lot of objectives. Would our goal be to choose the top 3?
I would say, yeah, 2 to 4 is probably a good range for objectives for each goal. You could have some where it makes sense to do as low as 2. You could have some that makes more sense to go up to 4. It just depends on kind of what we see as maybe the workload tied to it.
How do we do that?
How do we do?
Are we doing that now?
That's what we're going to start to do is kind of go through the proposed ones, see if there's any other proposed objectives, and then select which objectives we want to tie to that goal.
Got it.
So, first one is the first goal: strengthen the Oregon City Arts Commission structural foundation. So, proposed objectives. First one is to establish key best practices, policies, and procedures to standardize procedures. So, under that, I put together some initial examples. Rebecca sent in a bunch more things that we probably want to, at some point, have developed. So it's an RFP process, an elections and onboarding process, which we talked about a bit last time, just getting a checklist for city staff to utilize, request for qualifications, art selection process, there's a ton of them. My thinking is that we would want to maybe limit it. I mean, we could always do more, but maybe identify as part of the objective a good handful, 4 to 6 procedures that we want to try and have wrapped up by the end of the 5-year period. I say 4 to 6 because, as we've seen, some documents like the bylaws can take a long time to get through legal reviews and making sure everything is aligned right. And sometimes we go through a process with one and we realize later that it needs some cleanup, some additional things that we didn't think about before. So it'll take a bit of time to do, each document. And I don't want it to be our focus where we're just doing paperwork for 5 years either, so.
Yeah.
So process documents was kind of the first key one there. The next objective was launch multiple programs to solicit financial support for the arts in Oregon City. This one is really, we need to figure out ways in which we can get more resources to do more art related projects in Oregon City, more art programs, whether that's through sponsorships, through fundraising, through donations, through grant writing, what have you. And so process writing, then financials. The last piece is the marketing plan. So putting together a solid marketing plan where if we decide to do, say, a new sculpture, we know that with the new sculpture, we want to maybe do a blog about the artist. We want to do photos in the next Trails News. We want to promote it on social media, what have you, all the steps that would go with each kind of promotion of each program or event. And then we have our process for going through each of those. So those were kind of the 3 top ones that were under strengthen the Oregon City Arts Commission structural foundations. Are there any other, I'll start with, are there any questions on those 3? Okay, any other items that would go under that goal that people want to put forward?
How about seasonal projects?
Seasonal projects,
Like we do something for winter, spring, summer, fall.
How would that relate to like our structural
Are you talking about
foundation?
marketing? Are you
Like,
talking about
Possibly,
marketing?
yeah.
Okay.
So that would be kind of part of the marketing plan. Like we would have probably a calendar we would maintain. We would know, if we wanted to say tie an event into a certain time period, we could say these events happen in that time period. We could try and launch around that. We could use, if it's a smaller thing, like, hey, this is a quick update on this person or this project, it's going to get a email blast or a posted on the website, what have you. So that could be tied into the marketing plan, how we handled those seasonal or special projects. Right.
So I'm going to use a specific city as an example that I've worked with as an artist. They're a really small bedroom community outside of Seattle, but they have a really robust arts program, including being able to build their own arts center. And they have 4 things that happen every year. They're like pillar programs. They have a rotating art installation in a storefront, in their downtown, that they have that storefront that is the city's. They have an outdoor sculpture event that takes over several months. They have rotating artists displaying for 3 months at a time in their city hall, and then they have one other program, I can't remember what it was, in addition to having an arts center. So they have built the arts by doing a few things over and over again. And I'm not saying that we want to do that, but it could behoove us to be like, okay, we choose a yearly fundraising event. We choose every year, we choose to do a grant proposal round first, like find staple things that we feel.
Yeah, I think that actually would fall under, I want to say goal number 4.
Okay.
Actually, maybe it's 3. Curate projects that enhance placemaking. So
Yeah.
you have those standardized every year. These are the things that happen. So it kind of creates this thing like, oh, I'm going to Oregon City because that's what they're going to do in this time of the year. Or I'm expecting a new piece to be unveiled every spring. So, be ready for it kind of thing. The first one is more about us as a board organization.
Okay.
What do we need to be able to facilitate our responsibilities more effectively and efficiently? But
My only thing, and I did have something to say about that. I think that we're getting into like nitty gritty, like we need a form for this, we need a structure for that, which is all good. And I think, I won't be here after the next meeting, so I could say, like whatever I want. But I also feel that in my view, this, we have also worked well with being like, here's the thing we want to do, here's what needs to happen, who wants to do this, this, and this, like, everything hasn't had to be like, okay, let's pull out the standardized sheet. There are sometimes we have needed that and haven't had it, so this is really good to have happen. There's lots of times actually, but also I wouldn't want every single thing to have a pre-prescribed procedure, like overly prescribed. Not, you know what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying. So like with an RFP process, we would have a template for our RFP process of how it's going to be reviewed, but the actual like description of the project would change. The criteria might change slightly. The thing that I think we're trying to avoid with getting some of this stuff standardized is that we don't spend 2-3 meetings going through it, and we get to actually the crux of getting things kind of moving along. Because I think we've all felt frustration in times, and maybe I'm speaking out of turn here, but frustration when we go over and over and over again on a process, and then we get to the end of it, and we've got 3, months then to get the actual work done, versus being able to say, yep, no, we're going to move forward with that. Here's the outline. If someone wants to take it and add to it. The other thing too is when new commissioners join, having a structure to base their stuff on is good. I would also say as an artist, having a structure, what's going to be included. You can kind of, identify like, oh, this is what they're going to ask. It's going to be pretty standardized, versus could be completely random things thrown in if we don't have too much of a foundation around it.
Yeah, no, I agree with all these things proposed and that we need the structure. I'm just saying,
You don't want it over-engineered.
I don't want it, yeah, right, thank you.
You don't want it, you don't want us to use AI to do it all and figure it all out.
Save us some time.
Okay. No, that's a very good point. And again, we can review that as we go through and start to create these processes. We can make sure that there is room for flexibility.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good point to keep in mind. Any other thoughts, comments on the proposed objectives for goal number 1?
I would just add to the elections and onboarding that, it says in process, but, it says to formalize the process of elections and onboarding new members to ensure a smooth transition and active participation in the commission's work. But, I just want to say, again, my understanding is that the city does the onboarding. And I think more to the point for us would be just to do follow-up and like a mentorship with new commission members. So like seasoned commission members would work with new commission members to like make sure everyone's doing well and that there's like kind of someone to touch base with.
Yeah, no, the city will be handling the onboarding process. We talked about it last time about giving, James or the city staff a a checklist to say, these are the things we think would be helpful to go over with a new, commissioner who you're onboarding. So they have it. There could also be, so for a heads up that January, I've talked to, in January, I've talked to James already of having people like Matt come in and give us an update on the financials, have legal possibly come in and give us an update or review with us again the mural codes and stuff. So that can be part of the onboarding process, that at our January meeting, we do an assessment of what information do we want to learn about and bring in, the right experts from the city, or maybe it's other partnership programs to give us that information so that all of us hear it, either rehear it or hear it for the first time. And that can be part of the onboarding process. So the in-process thing, I think, was just that we had started a discussion around it. But that's kind of, and I do like your mentor program as well. Like, I think having that, giving people, the opportunity that, hey, if you need to talk to someone, you can talk to city staff for sure. If you want to pick someone's brain on the commission, let's make sure that you feel like you can comfortably, reach out to them and stuff. So I'm totally on board with that and giving people that option who are just joining for the first time. Does that address all your concerns on that one, or is there any other things with the onboarding that you were wanting to address that I missed?
Yeah, that was just the main thing is adding that extra little thing that's something that we have jurisdiction over,
Yeah.
so to speak.
No, I agree.
Something
I
that
just
we
have
can
a
do.
clarification question. Like, when you guys say onboarding and you're saying the city's doing stuff, I just recall, in my experience, I just showed up to the first meeting, like,
We're asking for something
yes.
different.
And so, but we're asking for that, but no, I understand we're asking for that. But the city has agreed to be like, sure, we'll onboard people for you. I'm just clarifying, like, you're,
Yeah, and
Okay.
Anne has done some onboarding in the past and stuff.
Okay.
I don't know all the details with it, but I know that last meeting when we talked to James, he was in favor of continuing in that capacity in his role as city liaison.
Okay.
And, we said, well, it'd be good to get a checklist to him so that he knows, we want him to review and hopefully some of the stuff people do review before they come and interview, but, make sure you give them a
Yeah.
copy of the municipal codes, the bylaws.
I just want to make sure that we're definitely, the city is, if we're saying, oh, it's the city's job, the city is definitely like, yes, we are doing that. Like, I just want
That's
to.
how I understood it,
Okay.
yes, that they didn't want us, because we offered to do like, actual one-on-one with, some of the officers and stuff to go over things. And it sounded like, no, that would be something that cities should still maintain, just
Okay.
so that it's being heard from someone who has kind of that internal, understanding of policies and processes for
Yeah.
city.
That makes sense.
The way I read it is more that we would potentially offer some feedback about what we might like that onboarding process to look like, but we
Yeah,
wouldn't be
like a
actually
checklist.
doing it.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah.
I just, yeah.
Okay, so goal number 1, objectives being the process documents, the financials, and the marketing plan. Any other items or any further questions on those things? If not, I'll consider those agreed upon and we'll come back with proposed final language on those. Next one, goal number 2 is forge community partnerships through the arts. So the proposed objectives here, I reread these again and I'm more fuzzy on them this time. So what I wrote down in my notes here is essentially we wanted to make sure that when we go out to create partnerships in the next 5 years, we are diversifying our partnerships across the board. So the first proposed objective is basically working with city groups, nonprofits, government organizations, what have you. The second objective is working with art organizations. So that is other city commissions or art commissions or TRAG or the Art Alliance. The last one is with for-profit organizations. So looking for ways we can partner with for-profit organizations as well on projects. One item that has come up recently is, utilizing partnerships to do sponsors for a new piece of art. So having a bank help sponsor a new statue that gets placed in an area near where that bank might be, but in the city in general as a public piece of art. And then it's, noted as a partnership with that, or a new art program. Rebecca again made several possible proposals, educational workshops, establish an artist mentor program. That's something we could work with. The Art Alliance on facilitate art and science collaborations. That might be something we work with, say, a local engineering firm or environmental group, or we could work with Metro and get them to see if they would be willing to do some type of collaborative art piece. I know Amy had a good experience where she got them to set aside like good trinkets that artists could then maybe pull from. You didn't do that?
I founded an art program where we were given access to the transfer station.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nobody set aside anything.
Okay. Yeah. But something similar to that, like where we could give that, help coordinate to give that resource to artists that are local to Oregon City. I'm not sure.
Good luck, the answer is no, probably.
Yeah.
But ideas like that, so again, partnerships, just trying to make sure we had a diverse list of partnerships with nonprofit organizations and government organizations, art organizations, and then with for-profit organizations.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Amy.
So, I mean, the thing that confused me when I was preparing and reading this is I understand that part of this is a brainstorm, but holy moly, there are so many options to choose from, right? I mean, I don't know how this document is, I mean, just in this section. So I understood all of the ones in the first goal, they're forms that we need to create.
Yeah.
And that makes sense. But here, I mean,
They're just potential directions we can go in. And
Yeah.
we need to
So
just
how do
kind
we
of
treat that?
through which ones we want to do.
so.
So we could
is that
say-
next?
We could say each year we are looking to make a partnership with a
Museum.
museum or a educational facility, right? Or we can even keep it broader and say each year we are trying to make a new program with a nonprofit organization. At the beginning of the year, we identify a nonprofit organization we want to work with. We talk with them about, what might be an idea of a program, and then we implement. Or we could say in the next 5 years, we try and do 3 in each, right? 3 projects with nonprofit organizations or government organizations. We work with Parks and Rec on a new mural in a park or a new statue in a park. But really, it's trying to broaden or diversify our partnerships with different organizations that might or might not usually partner with art groups to do things like this.
Can I?
Okay, go ahead. I'm just still confused because again, it's like, okay, there's no way that we could do this.
In 5 years?
We'd have to have 10 arts.
I'm not saying every single one of these organizations is going to get touched. I'm saying we would write the objective to be simply, 3 projects with
Okay,
nonprofits
and
or
then we'll
organizations.
determine that.
And then we would determine that as we go forward.
Okay, that makes sense.
And that would be maybe done once we have our art master plan, we could say, okay, well, this is what we want to focus on next for our art master plan. Who do we want to partner with? Is it a nonprofit, a government organization, or a?
Okay, because as it looks now, it looks like, I mean, we'd be busy until eternity. And
Yeah.
Well, or we
And
need like way more people.
Well, yeah, and I understand that these are all just ideas.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like I feel like this objective, in my perception, like when we brought it up in our planning meeting, was more to us actually reaching out, not necessarily creating projects to do with, because this is it's immediately project based, right? Like all of these, most of these are partnering with people or organizations to do specific projects. I was under the impression that this goal was to actually so once a month attend a meeting with TRAG or every quarter or something like that, or go to, an art commissioner go to, the parks planning meetings. That's the impression I got from this goal. And then it seems to have gotten like more specific, like we're gonna partner with these people to do these types of things.
Yeah.
But if you are gonna go to one of those meetings, why are you gonna go to that meeting?
Well, yeah, fair enough, yeah.
Well, to forge partnerships.
Well, to forge partnerships, to be like,
But what is
to get to know what they're doing, to get to know what their
Exactly.
needs are, and then from there, be like, hey, maybe we can offer our
that's-
expertise this way. Yeah,
That's basically this is the back door to that exactly.
right, but I think that putting out like all these ideas right off the bat,
These are just.
like, I think the objective should be like, we're gonna go to these many meetings, make these many connections. These are all the organizations we want to connect with, and that's you know what I'm saying? And then after we've actually done that, because we haven't done any of that stuff, then we can go get to the projecty side of these. And I know these are just examples. I'm just saying that, like, it makes more sense to me to put the objectives like, we're gonna attend this many meetings for this organization. Here's the list of organizations we're gonna reach out to. Like, that seems like the meat and potatoes to me of getting specific of how we're achieving this goal.
I can see what you're saying there. So if one objective is we want to engage, to a certain level with these 10 organizations over the next 5 years. And then the second objective is, from that list of 10, identify 3 we want to do a program or project with,
Yeah.
right?
I think our first steps are like, identify who we want to work with and how we're going to engage with them. Those 2 things first. And I think that's enough for us the first couple years.
And one of those organizations could even be the Chamber of Commerce, so then we are
Yeah.
Exactly.
coming in on that
And I
building
think-
relationships
yeah, and
with
I think-
private businesses.
Yeah, and I think all these ideas are super good, and we should we need to keep them.
Like
This is like, these are
list for when we're
baller.
friends, instead of showing up and going, I want to be your friend, let's do this thing. So we've been encouraged to attend meetings of parks, just to get to know the players and understand.
Well, yeah, we've also been encouraged to invite them to our meetings and have them talk to us
Exactly.
about what they're working on. So, I mean, we can for sure take that as an initial step. I guess maybe my thinking, I'm not sure about your thinking, Rebecca, my thinking was that would be part of the actual process. But I get it, separating it out as this is step 1, this is kind of objective 1, but step 1 of the process. And then we go to step 2, which is identifying those that we want to start programming with. And maybe we start small, and then we move up to larger ones as those relationships build, right? So the
Yeah.
first one might be just simply helping promote each other's works and stuff like that.
Yeah, I honestly feel like we need to be like, get a master list. Who do we want to work with? Who do we want to forge relationships with? Then get action steps. Who's attending what meetings? Who's reaching out to who? And then go from there, honestly. Like,
Yeah. That sounds good. Okay, so that would break us down to 2 objectives under this. So first, engagement plan, and then a program project plan.
Yeah.
Is there anything else under partnerships that people think we should try and incorporate as an objective under this goal? Okay. So going on then to number 3, it's at the top here. Curate projects that enhance placemaking. So back to what you were saying, is maybe establishing, well, I'll start here with what was already on here, but establish a master plan for Oregon City. James brought up a good point that some groups like to start and hit, try and hit every neighborhood. Some will try and build up one section at a time and then move out or move to different strategic places. So there's different ways of doing it, but we could create a master plan and how we're going to approach that. If we want to build up an art district in Oregon City, if we want to try and get as broad of a brushstroke as possible, pun intended, on that. The next few here, basically a combination of temporary and permanent art installations. Back to what you said earlier, Choir, about, having maybe our standardized 4 pillars of art every year, a permanent piece, a temporary piece, a art fundraising event, and whatever else. We can decide kind of what that is. But establishing those kind of core pieces of our placemaking brand.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And I guess the last one here, create one new piece of art in multiple disciplines each year. I was just trying to say, when you look back at the end of the 5-year program, it'd be nice to say we have hit at least one of each of these different disciplines at least once in the last 5 years. Mm-hmm. So basically a diversification of the art projects. We, Rebecca and I met with the director over at the Oregon Territory Museum just this last week, yesterday.
Steve Greenwood,
Yes,
Museum of the Oregon Territory.
Museum of the Oregon Territory.
You just have to think moot.
Okay. So he had he was talking about some different exhibits and wanting to utilize some of their space for an exhibit area for art and showing culture and stuff of the people that have lived here. He had talked about one person, maybe it was you that said, was it him or you? Someone was talking about even like clothing, right? They had a person come in and talk about the various, like the history of the corset and how it affected culture and art and stuff. And we said, we consider clothing as a form of art, right? Mm-hmm. And there could be just a broader diversity of art projects that we try and implement over the years. So that was kind of the main last one as well. But I'll stop there and see if there's comments, thoughts, other objectives that people want to throw out for this one.
So again, are we going to try to choose some of these because I feel like there's a lot?
Well, so what I wrote down here is, so a master plan, I think, would be a good idea. Mm-hmm. We can do one that's saying, every year or maybe over the course of 5 years, we do a certain number of temporary art installations and permanent art installations. Or we break it down even to like the 4 pillars that Choir suggested, to that level where we say, we will do one fundraising event a year, we will do one permanent piece a year, we'll do one temporary piece a year, and whatever else it is.
Yeah.
That's more achievable.
Yeah, I think like in the master plan, I think all these ideas should stay. These are all bangers. But in the master plan, I think what we could look at is to think about it as like a tentacle. Like we want one tentacle going into fundraising. We want one tentacle going into diversifying what type of art we're promoting. We want one tentacle going into like actually getting art seen and in the community, like kind of like think of them as tentacles or pillars, and maybe like pick a number, like we could do 5 of these a year, that seems doable. And like we're gonna hit these each year. The projects maybe could change. If like our 6x6 show was really successful, that would be a good thing to just kind of be like, we do this, do it again and see if it slaps the same way. And if it does, maybe we should do it each year, so.
Okay, so you're saying break it down simple to one fundraising, one permanent, one.
Well, yeah, or decide what tentacles we want, like.
Yeah.
Like, but just keep it, I feel like we're also creative and we're also intelligent and we come up, we're great idea generators. I think we need to, in the master plan, be like, what is the structure we're doing each year? Like kind of how we're saying we need like structure for onboarding. We need structure for our master plan of the things we want to achieve each year.
Got it.
And if we want to include in that, working on a long-term project, chipping away at that each year too, make that one of the tentacles, right? Like,
Okay.
so that's my feedback. Sorry.
No, that's good. Annie, you had your hand raised?
I always love how ambitious you guys are. You guys are very ambitious. I think, when you say, and I just want to get clarification when you say, like, we're gonna do, I mean, it's not the 9 of y'all, right? You're creating partnerships and
Yeah.
facilitating things and identifying resources and helping that happen in the community. Is that?
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I mean, because this is, because that's the way, it couldn't happen any
Yeah, there's
other.
no way.
Yeah.
No.
Like, I like this as a list to
Right.
refer to of things that we could do, but I love what Choir is saying, making it doable is that we do one of these kinds of things, one of these kind of things, and then here's the list we can pull from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like making it repetitive and predictable because then people in the community will know.
Right.
That's
And
right.
expect.
They'll know how to engage with
Well,
us and
and
they'll know
yeah,
where it's
hopefully the
coming from.
partners will say, hey, you did this last year with them. We'd like you to do it with us now.
Yeah.
Right? And
Like, honestly, our first rounds of grants was pretty successful. Like, we funded almost everybody and they were all projects that you could still see. Or a lot of them that you can still see around the city in public art. So like, I think like having a grant round, like establishing, oh my gosh, you guys, my words, establishing, like, are we gonna do a grant round every other year or once a year? You know, something like that, like picking the frequency we're gonna do it in. Like Amanda said, it's gonna let people know, like, this is coming from the art commission
Nice
every
to know
year.
what to expect.
Make sure you apply, like, that's how like RAC,
Yeah.
that's, you know what's happening, they're gonna be doing these grants and these projects.
Yeah.
The Seattle SAC, the Seattle version of RAC, they have the similar thing, they have a ton of stuff. But, same things going each year, every once in a while, they introduce a new thing when they can, but it's like really similar things hitting each year, so.
okay, so what I have here is master plan, establish pillars based on certain criteria, temporary, permanent, long-term, short-term, discipline, what have you, and then diversify the art in Oregon City through, one of several different disciplines. And I'll wordsmith that to make it pretty.
Yeah.
And measurable.
Pretty.
Okay, any other items on goal number 3? Okay. Last one, oh, and it's on the other side. Enhance regional awareness and brand. So again, this was focused more on the Oregon City Arts Commission as general. We want to try and look to be a leader in our region. So I think a big thing right off the bat is launching the website. Rebecca and I have been talking in the background about what needs to be done. A lot of things got slowed down because of the municipal codes and stuff, but we're working through content now that hopefully we'll be able to get launched. Also putting, kind of tie with what the marketing plan is, we don't want to just set things up there and have it stationary. We want to continue to feed information through, and how do we make sure that we are getting constant new information on there to keep it relevant to people who are coming back multiple times to view it. So that's kind of one. Promote art leadership within the Arts Commission, additional training for Arts Commissioners. We talked about reaching out to national organizations, maybe regional organizations, and getting training. I was reviewing some of the Oregon State Arts Commission materials, and they have probably just a ton of knowledge. And it would be great if we could somehow get someone from that organization to talk to us about things they've seen and done and heard of and give us new ideas. Again, that might be a partnership thing, but really getting all of the arts commissioners, the best amount of data and information for making decisions and stuff. So really focusing on that. Simple little things like cleaning up the vision statement, that might even get moved up to the top as part of the foundational materials. Build on brand-oriented programs. We talked about the Art for Every Heart. We also have if we did the 4 pillars, we could tie Art for Every Heart as one of those. That's tentacle. Art blocks. I know that those are very popular, or just if we focused on, say, an art district, how do we promote new art pieces and stuff there. Art and business partnerships, again, a lot of these can be tied back to other things. But one thing that I read recently that really popped in my head when I was thinking about kind of brand and stuff was I read that someone called Oregon, they were describing Oregon City's like economic changes over the years, and they finally, the most recent one, they called it blue collar creative.
Oh, yeah, that's I like that.
It kind of stuck with me.
Yeah.
And, if we kind of tie that in a little bit, I'm not saying that that's the direction we should go, but it just, kind of getting to that point where we are known for something simple like that. Like, this is where you go to see these kinds of things.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's it. So a lot of these are options that are probably going to be sub-objectives under the main objectives, but that was kind of my thinking there. And then other ones, create artist passport program, and then incorporate art into local events and celebrations. So whether this is a standard event every year that we put an art twist on, the fall festival or for city celebration or what have you, or if it's done in a different way. But yeah, kind of tie art to other established programs in Oregon City.
Yeah, I would sorry, I've been
Go ahead.
talking a lot. One thing I think we can do, because we don't want to double work ourselves, is to realize some of these are kind of already going on. Like TRAG has established now a yearly open studios, which is kind of similar to, it's not the same as the Art Walk, but similar. That's drawing lots of people to Oregon City. I participated, and so many of the people that came to my studio were not from here. So that's pretty tight. So like maybe going back to the connections piece, like part of that, those first objectives in the connections piece is to also identify people who are already kind of doing some of the similar things to these proposed ideas, and how can we support those people, and how can we get that word out?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk a lot too.
All right.
I have the same feelings, like these are bangers, says choir. They're all bangers. These are amazing ideas that with 20 years and 20 members, we could actually get to. I'm worried about how we're going to structure this in something that feels doable and that we can achieve success with, instead of going, oh my God, who's gonna do all this stuff I don't even know, I really wanna do it, but
Well, I think that goes back to like a master plan and just choosing 5 types of things we're gonna do.
your pillars.
The pillars, and then just being like, okay, well, how are we gonna achieve that pillar this year? How are we gonna achieve that pillar
Love
that
it.
year? I think the master plan is the key, honestly.
Good.
Going to that.
Yeah.
I also have a comment.
Oh, sorry.
So, a lot of these bullet points that are on here, imagine if we came tonight and none of them were there,
Word.
right?
Yep.
So don't get hung up that we have to, there's too many and we're just not gonna be able to get this all done. Some of these are gonna cancel each other out. Some
Yeah.
of them are, the tentacles are gonna cross and hold hands. It gives us something to have conversation from and start to build something from. If we didn't have at least something to be talking about, we would still be back where we were in the strategic planning meeting of like, what do we want to do?
Right.
So I really want to encourage everyone not to get hung up on that there's a long list. And try to, yes, these are all examples, we can always refer back to them, but really it's the categories for each one of these that we all decided in the strategic planning meeting were areas that we wanted to focus on.
That's true, yeah.
So anyway, good comment.
As I'm looking down this list too, I'm just, in my mind, I'm thinking of different organizations that are already doing things that are kind of like this, or would want to probably be very eager to partner with us. Like Downtown Oregon City
cross-promote.
Association is one of them that I'm going, oh wow, some of these would be like, they would really be into trying to do some of these. So I think that I mean, I don't think that I think this is a great idea. This is great to have this list and our idea to reach out to those other groups and to form those partnerships. I think a lot of these things could just get done just because of those partnerships that we can
That's
form.
true,
Yeah.
right, that's true.
Yeah.
Back to the master plan. Are we gonna post this somewhere so we can keep up on what's happening with that?
Yeah. So some of the examples of master plans that I've seen, basically, you know, they talk through kind of all the purpose and all that stuff. But really, what it comes down to is they have like a map, and they show kind of, this is phase one is to build up this area. Phase two is to then focus on this area, and it might not be a map of the city. It might be a map of categories of art. Maybe it's, we want to start with the murals and then work our way to statues and then to theater or what have you. There are some that are different, and it depends on the city and the aspects of the city. So yes, the plan would be that would be published at some point in the future once we get to it. And we probably would, you know, one of the things I talked about with Brecca is that once we get a strategic plan done, it's going to be a divide and conquer. We're going to ask people like, hey, we want to talk to these 10 organizations. Which ones are you willing to talk to and kind of try and reach out to and keep that relationship building? Which projects are you most interested in, or which disciplines of art are you most wanting to do? And we'll kind of divide and conquer these out without, you know, getting into too big a groups so that we don't run into any open meeting law issues. But yeah, it's going to take some time to divide and conquer, and then we're going to make these partnerships. We're going to work with city staff. We're going to hopefully partner with other groups. You know, I think Parks and Rec is a big one that we haven't really ever tapped into. We need to really, it sounds like they have lots of new applicants, so that's great. We can reach out to them, invite them out for coffee and say, you know, what are some thoughts you guys have? So yeah, that's really the intent. And the reason there are so many listed here is I didn't want to preemptively cut any out before sharing with everyone in this group. So that's why there looks like a lot, but it's really just, this was all of the thoughts thrown out there just to give you all an idea, breadth of what could be.
Yeah.
Well, I like what Choir's saying, if in a plan, because what I'm used to, if you look at a plan, this is what we want to achieve, the check marks that you go, we're gonna do that.
Yeah.
So if we've got the pillars like that, and then it's a list of ideas that can be pulled from when we're trying to do, then it makes more sense to me. Then you should have a big old long list and it's great. But the way it is right now, it almost looks like these are the things that we intend to do.
Yeah, no, these were just concepts that we were throwing out there. After
Josh
this,
had asked everyone to contribute ideas
Yeah.
at the last meeting, and so these are the ideas that were submitted.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at in the process.
So what do you think are next steps in this making, like, how are we gonna start action on this? Like, what do you guys?
So what my plan is, and this is kind of going to the future meeting section of the agenda tonight, is I will take back the feedback tonight. I will draft these into more comprehensive objectives that have a defined kind of metric that we can measure, because that's going to be the key thing. Is we want to, it's the list of 10 organizations, or it's these five documents. We want to raise a certain number of capital, and I will bring it back in a more formatted strategic document style, and we'll start working our way through that document, and the strategic objectives and goals will be part of that. There'll be more to it than just that too. I've started the outline and the bones, the you know, purpose of the strategic plan and all that kind of stuff. So over the next few months, we'll review that and we'll get it squared away just like we do with the bylaws. If we can get it done by February, that would be extremely cool. But we'll take whatever time we need to make sure we're all on the same page with it, right? Go ahead.
Can I make a ask? Okay, next meeting is gonna be your last meeting, I know, but could I be able to meet with both of you? Maybe not at once. I can't remember the rules. I feel like it should be
Can't be more than two people from the arts
together, or maybe just probably meet with you. No offense, you're busy, but like, meet with you, to like, kind of like go over this, like, cause one of the things that, I don't think we need to spend time in this meeting doing, but I think a way I can help before I leave is to just like, I'm a headlines lady and I'm an action person, which is, and I think if I can go through this together,
Actually, Josh would be better.
Josh would be better? Never mind.
Yeah, because, sorry.
I don't wanna meet with you then.
No, the reason why is because he's gonna be compiling all of
Okay,
this.
yeah.
So it makes more sense, otherwise you're gonna go through me and then I'm gonna go to him
Yeah.
and that'll stall it out.
Yeah. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Like, and I just like, cause just to be like, let's get simple. Like,
I mean, I live in your neighborhood, you could.
That's, oh, I didn't know you lived in me. Okay, well, we'll talk after.
Okay,
All right.
It's fine.
okay, so any other thoughts, comments on this last goal? Okay, cool, thank you, everyone. It's coming along. I think the next time you see it in the next version, it'll be in a more visionary state of mind. So it'll look much better than just long lists of things. Next up on the agenda is administrative items. So the first one is review proposed questions for the Arts Commission. So real quickly here, there's a packet in the agenda stuff that was sent out. However, Rebecca and Amy also put together a kind of cleaned up version of it, taking what was already in there and trying to put it into a more finalized state, which is what the separate piece of paper is that you have. Daria, if you're online, let me share it with you here.
I already emailed it to Daria.
You already emailed it to her? Okay, perfect, thank you.
Yeah, I have it.
Okay, so,
Oh, yay, Daria's still here.
instead of reviewing what was in the packet, I think it would be better time to review what Rebecca and Amy put together. Before we get to that, though, there was one proposal that I wanted to bring up. This was kind of just confirming that a precedent we set at the last year's interview process is something we want to continue going forward, which is in the past, if we agreed that if an applicant is not present in person at the meeting or on virtual, that we will not include any scores for them. Basically, they would get a 0 for not attending the meeting. Is that what people still want to uphold?
Yeah.
Okay, so that was my
People
one.
ghost the committees. Before, we've had applicants apply, say they were coming to an interview and then not show up.
We had 2 people
Yeah.
last year,
Yeah, I know, I
and it's
remember.
too hard to like
know.
figure out what they're like, so
I know.
I think they need to be present.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
have to be, you can't,
Yeah.
you can't interview a
Well, and if
person
you
that's
can't
not
show
here.
up for an interview, then you're
Are
probably.
you getting a show?
That tells you something.
Yeah.
Okay, so then let's.
Can I explain this real quick?
Yes, I was
Are
gonna hand over to
thinking-
you and Amy to talk through this.
Okay, so basically what we did was we went through the packet, took out the questions that the city really needs to be doing that we don't have any control over, and then tried to categorize them under a scoring category. And so maybe where we could start is see like, are these the 5 categories that are most important to us as a body? And then you build the questions from that. So even though the category is in column 3, I would recommend that we start talking about that and then make sure that the question supports that criteria. Does that make sense? Okay, so the first criteria was their connection to the arts. The second is any kind of relevant experience and knowledge. The third is examples of partnerships and collaborations. The fourth is communications and conflict resolution. And the fifth is vision. And, you know, we don't have to use all 5 of these questions. Basically, we took that long list of questions and consolidated them as best we could and tried to categorize them, like I just said. So, Amy, do you have something that you want to add?
No, I think that you build backwards. Who are you really hoping for? what are the skills that you're really hoping for that they may, and then what are the questions that will allow them to describe that and so that you can see.
If they qualify, yeah.
Yeah.
So this is already assuming the city has vetted them to the point where they're actually in an interview and we've all agreed that we want to look at them.
Yes, yeah.
Well, that's a bit of a question now, Mayor. I believe you said earlier that that doesn't always happen, that we don't know if they actually are residents or not?
It's on the application it says whether you're a resident or not.
And they say, yes, I am, like you said earlier, and they're not.
Well, I'll give you an example. I have an application that I'm reviewing that says, I'm not sure.
Okay.
And since the addresses are blacked out, because it also asks, what neighborhood do you live in? And when they responded, that is not in the city. So I do know, even though I don't have their address, that they do not live in the city limits of Oregon City.
Got it. So I guess that's what I'm saying is.
So you'll see that when you get the application.
Oh, we will see that.
Oh, it's on the application. The only thing that you won't see is that stuff that's redacted is like their address and their phone number.
But the neighborhood you would see.
But you'll see the neighborhood part.
Then that's it. I'm sorry. I thought you were saying earlier somebody said they were and they weren't, but you didn't find out until the pre-screening, and I'm
Well,
like,
and that's because back before they were scrutinized more, there was an assumption because they had an Oregon City mailing address. And
Okay.
we reminded the city recorder that that doesn't mean a whole lot because
get it.
it goes out to Redland Road. It goes out to where Springwater and Redland go together.
Yeah.
That is not in the city of Oregon City.
okay, that's perfect. Sorry about
Yeah,
that.
no, it's, you would not believe how many people don't know what that. We had somebody come up last night and testify, and she says, I live in the city of Oregon City. And I looked at her email and her address, and no, she doesn't.
You maybe should change the question to, are you on sewer or septic?
And that won't work because we still have a few parcels in the city limits that are on septic tanks. I kid you not. They're on septic tanks.
Jeez Louise.
Well, and they only have to hook up when they fail.
Yeah.
But yes, I found that out. We got a request for annexation, and they've been here for 20 years, and their septic tank finally failed.
Oh, yeah.
And they went to go try to get it repaired, and they said, nope. Clackamas County said, you gotta hook up. So
So-
that isn't always it.
So the thinking on this form is that this is the order the questions would go in if we accepted all 5 questions. So kind of read through each one and see if you want a different question and a different scoring criteria. We were going to give 5 points per question, so there's a total of 25. And then on the back, it says there's a checkbox. You can highly recommend, recommend with reservations, or don't recommend. And there's a spot for notes, because let's say there's some weird little glitch and you just need a note of like, I'm a little bit concerned about this, or I think this is really great and the Arts Commission could use this.
And you know, all of those notes are gonna be public. They're public, so they'll be collected and stored somewhere. So it's
Yeah, so
public.
don't
Be
say
nice.
any, yeah, so be nice.
Be careful what you draw on your, on the side.
I hate you, or, some weird.
Reminds me of my aunt.
I had a look at the questions earlier,
Yeah.
and I actually think they're really great.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I don't have any feedback. I appreciate Amy and Rebecca for consolidating and making this more streamlined, and I think it's gonna actually be probably our best selection process yet. So, thank you.
Can we like approve this in this meeting? Because it looks good to me.
Yeah, because we gotta use
You
it next
advertised
week.
We need it.
Yes, please.
So,
Can I make a motion?
well, hold on. Two things real quick. So, I agree that all the questions look good, and I would want to use them. My only thinking is timing with 6 individuals, 5 questions, getting responses from all of them. Our intent is actually to send these questions out ask James to send these out to the candidates before the meeting, so they all have a chance to review it.
That was my question.
Yeah. So that's the intent. So if they come prepared with long, things versus off the cuff of their sleeve, it could be quite a long interview process, so.
Not if James says you have 5 minutes.
Correct, yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Or 10 minutes.
timer.
I'm just saying,
5 minutes per question.
I'm just saying,
5 minutes per
if
question, again,
he were to
it's 30
say
minutes
you're
per
really,
person.
I'm sorry, that's too
12
long. You're
minutes
right.
for their.
2 minutes per question.
Right.
Or something like
So
that.
I don't know
that's-
how much time you want to give each applicant.
Yeah.
I think
wanna
we
give
should
them
say, I
20
would
minutes
recommend
and then-
10.
That's,
10
you know,
minutes.
10
Yeah,
total?
when they,
I
10 total,
Yeah.
which would be 2 per question, but some of them are going to be very quick, and then some of this might take time, but it's going to take some management.
Yeah.
And so telling everybody, look, here's the deal, there's 6 of you, and Rebecca's going to be saying this. So we're very sorry, it's why we gave these ahead of time. We need to keep to 10 minutes if we possibly can.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know
now,
we have a timer up at
Well,
City Hall,
yeah.
like the other building where we have the city hall, city
so
council
do our
meetings.
phones.
Maybe we
Sort of
can
fun.
borrow
Well,
that.
also, yeah.
It's plugged
Oh, okay.
into the thing.
As a parent with ADHD of a small child, I have what's called the animal timer. It's red, so, and it goes,
You can use
like,
your
each
phone.
5 minutes is a different animal. And so you can actually see the time disappearing as it goes. And I'm just saying the animal timer might help.
So by the time you're
it's
a
helpful when
gorilla,
you're
you know it's done.
Yeah, well, pig is the done.
So, but it sounds like a 10 minutes total, so that would give you an hour total for the interview process.
Yeah.
Roughly, because you're gonna have some transition periods. Okay, I mean, if I had to just whittle these down at all, the only one that I would maybe take out is number 4.
Yeah, me too.
I think that's the only one that
Me too.
doesn't quite
Fair.
hit the mark of the others. So if we did 4 questions,
Fair.
10 minutes total,
That gives us a little wiggle.
that gives us a little wiggle room. Is everyone okay with that?
So
Yeah.
taking out
I agree.
4.
Do you want them all to be in the room, or do you want to call them in one by one?
I think, we need to, I would,
Let's talk
one by
about that.
one.
Yeah.
I
It's
think
my
one by
preference.
one, yeah. And also, are we going to have, now Josh isn't going to be leading this because he's an applicant.
Who's your
So,
vice chair?
yeah, it's me.
And he would not be in here.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I
So-
think I would recommend you abstain from voting on the,
No, I'm not going to participate at all in the actual process. I will not, at that point of the meeting, I will step out. I will wait till I be called in, and then after that's over, I will come back and retake after all the scoring has been submitted to.
I think you have to
and-
stay out. I don't think you can come
Yeah,
back
Starting
and share.
after
Come back
scoring,
and-
post-scoring.
Yeah, post-scoring.
That's
yeah.
what he said.
Yeah, that's what I said. Post-scoring, I would come back in and share the rest of the topics.
And then as far as the process, when we're asking the questions, do we want one person to ask the questions so that they can keep track of time? Or are we going to rotate like we did in the past? Comments have been, it's been super awkward
but
and we're trying
they
to
can Zoom it.
decrease the awkward
They can Zoom
vibe that we've had in the past.
I would like to propose, Rebecca, that you do that consistently, because yes, it is sort of silly, and it kind of looks like a circus, like it, I never appreciated it. Oh, now you're gonna ask, and now you're gonna, and you know, I never appreciated that. So one person asking them all consistently with all of them,
Down the line.
if you are willing to do that, makes sense.
I'm willing to do it, and I'm willing to keep on track. I might have, if I'm sitting next to Choir or Amanda, they can nudge me if I'm losing track of time or
Well, we
whatever.
can set a timer.
Yeah.
I hear there's an animal one that's good.
It's interesting, most of the other committees do not do that. You have the questions ahead of time, you figure out who's gonna ask, and you've got as chairing, you'd have Amy as number 1, Joyce number 2, whatever, how many you had, and then you just keep repeating that over and over again.
But it doesn't really help, and it seems silly.
It isn't silly.
I felt when this was happening to me, and it's actually, I've been through job interviews on both sides, where I don't know
But that
why.
one we kept rotating versus what you're saying is basically
One person has one person.
these 4 people would be the only people asking questions,
Right.
and they would each ask one question.
Exactly, that's the
would
way
be
it's
in
been
charge of
done
one
everywhere
question.
that I've
I mean,
ever
if you
been on
must.
every committee in my entire life.
I just think it'd go smoother if one person did.
I do too. Why? Why does it
And
make it
remember, you also
better?
have to, if you have a follow-up question, you have to remember to ask the other people the same follow-up question.
Fair, but
Well, and I
That's
would
fair.
say, avoid any kind of follow-up questions if you can, because if you ask a follow-up question
Right.
after the first person's gone, then they've got
I
to come
agree.
back in
I agree.
and
Yeah,
it would be terrible if they went out and then they actually left before,
Yeah.
the end
So
of the interview.
these these would be the questions.
I like it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And see, we can just focus. We don't have to go, oh, yeah, that's right, it was my turn. You know?
Yeah.
If they're assigned ahead of time, Amy, there's none of that.
I still say it's a good idea.
I'm just telling you, Amy.
The other thing, just so in terms of approving this, I would say if we're gonna do a motion, we would approve doing the 4 questions, these kinds. What I would like to do is work offline with James to move this into kind of a landscape format with actually the names of the individuals so that you can score them. So it's one sheet that you have to hand in at the end, keeps it simple versus a sheet for every person.
Sounds good.
They usually have a sheet for each person.
You have to do a sheet for every person?
And I didn't say you have to, it's generally every person has a sheet.
Yeah.
With their, I mean, you write the name in, who the reviewer is, who the
Yeah.
person is, and you score them.
Yeah, that's what we're saying.
Yeah.
He's
He
just
said-
saying
He
it
said
would,
one
it would
sheet
fit,
for every person.
yeah, it would fit better
Right.
landscape.
I was trying to
No, he was
condense
on the
it.
other end.
I was going to do everyone on one sheet just so I condense so that at the end,
It's never,
the city staff can quickly review them and calculate the points faster.
Does it
But
matter?
It doesn't really matter.
It doesn't really matter.
Okay.
Although, except you typically ask for what were the final scores on everyone, so you know the order.
Okay,
You're gonna make a
let's stay on track.
recommendation, I
Yeah,
think
let's stay
telling
on track,
somebody
thank
their
you.
scores. You know,
Right.
you're
No,
really-
I'm not saying to the
Yeah.
interviewees, but to the group itself, we typically know by the end of that process what the order is.
sure.
So we knew that last year and the year before, so I just, that was my thinking, but if we wanna do individual ones, we can leave it as is.
Let's go on to the secretary. Or do
Yeah.
we need
Wait,
to
before
approve
you
this?
leave this,
We have to
yeah.
have a
I need,
motion.
you need your
I would like to
motion.
make a motion to approve that
Yeah.
these be the candidate evaluation forms
And I would second that.
All
With
right.
the proposed changes.
with the proposed changes of
Okay,
taking out
do you
question
agree
number
to that
4.
I
amendment?
second.
Okay. Okay, so, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
You have unanimous, so you don't have to say no or
I was waiting, I don't think I heard Daria, but,
ask her.
Daria, she said hand up.
Oh, she put her hand up.
yeah,
I said hi, yes.
okay.
So I have one more thing to tell you that you need to keep in mind, because you do have 6 applicants. So we have to have a minimum of at least 5 residents. And the residents that we have that are leaving are the vacant position was Emma, you, and Choir. If those three positions are gonna be considered vacant, so then we only have 2, we basically have 3 residents, so you have to have 2 more. Joyce, you live in the city, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so that's what I have you written down as. So basically, we need to have 2 residents, and we have 1 at-large, because Daria and Rebecca are the non-residents. We have a minimum of 2. We have 2, 2, it says 2 in the thing. So it's gonna be a little dicey.
So wait a minute, I thought that we'd figured this out.
Well, I'm just telling you what's vacant. The vacant positions
No, I know that.
are seats 1, 2, and 3. All 3 of the positions, when they were filled, are all residents, which makes 6.
I didn't realize we had a minimum number of residents. I
Yes.
thought we had the ability that we were supposed to have a minimum number of at-large, but that it was.
2.
I didn't, help me, Daria.
I'm reading it from the code. It's 2 at large.
Or Josh.
Because I made a chart for myself so I can keep it straight. I had to go back and forth with Myra, so I made her an at-large person.
I'm at large.
But, so we had an email exchange going with the city recorder, and they said the at-large was not reflecting the
No,
city.
not residency.
Wasn't reflecting residency, it was reflecting the list of
Yes,
position. Okay.
I'm aware of that.
I'm just trying to find the,
I have it written
I'm
down
just
because I
looking
had
at
to,
our
I had to write it
kind of,
down to keep it straight in my own head.
it says at least 5 members of the commission shall reside inside the city limits. The appointees shall have 3-year terms. The original appointees shall be appointed all members may vote. I'm just looking here.
So at least 5, so that
At least
means
5 members from the board of
not 6. We can have 6 or 7 or 8. Everybody on the commission could be a resident.
Yeah.
But there has to be at least 5.
Yeah, so,
So,
go ahead, Daria.
I'm just looking at the revised municipal code, And the way it's worded is, shall consist of a minimum of 5 or a maximum of 9. This is in general. And then it says, at least the 60% of members shall reside within Oregon city limits.
But that's the revised version, right? So that wouldn't be approved yet. So the current one says the Arts Commission shall also contain at least 5 members from the broad spectrum of citizens representing the performing arts, music, drama, the visual arts, literary arts, and the fields of structural and landscape architecture, and shall also include, in addition to these 5 members from the arts community, at least 2 citizens at large. That means at least 2 people who are not in those fields. Categories. Then it goes on, at least 5 members of the commission shall reside within the city limits. So if at a minimum we have 5 people, which is Joyce, Amy, Amanda, and then 2 more that are going to be selected from the list, we would have
Minimum of 5.
you could have basically 1 more at-large individual, Joy, who's not in the city limits.
That's what I said, 1
Yeah.
at large and 2 residents.
That's,
Okay.
yeah.
I feel better now, thank you. It's like,
I will tattoo it on your head for you.
what?
Nothing.
I think you're on record.
Go back
Okay.
and watch the tape.
So the questions were approved. We'll use the format here. We'll make the few changes. And then I will just have James reiterate kind of a bullet point list of things to remember. If you ask follow-up questions, they have to be re-asked to everyone, all that as well that'll go with this. So next up, because we have 5 minutes left, appointment of secretary.
I'll do it.
Thank you.
Oh,
All right, who got to her?
You all owe me cookies and cakes and.
okay.
Is there a
got
motion
it.
to approve Amy as the secretary for the Oregon City Arts Commission?
I motion.
Okay.
I move is the term.
I move.
Not I motion. Motion,
I
I don't know what that
dance.
means.
I did.
Is there a second?
Yes,
I second.
Wires moving.
I will cook for you.
And you do the wave while you're sitting down.
Yeah, you can.
I believe you.
Is there a second?
I second.
Joyce? Okay, sorry, I didn't hear. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, everything
Aye, aye,
is
aye.
approved there. Congratulations, Amy.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I'll work with you offline and sending over templates and stuff. And next,
Joy
lastly,
sweeps across my face.
last up is communication. So, Salmon Bench. Why this is on here is I had a conversation with James, and we talked about the fact that currently within the current bylaws and in our new bylaws even, the responsibility of managing the city's art assets is not a responsibility that we have as an organization. We don't have the right to take things off or on the registry of Oregon City art pieces.
Who does?
I think it defaults to city manager or the city commission at this point, because I don't think it's defined anywhere. That's a bigger question that I've talked to James about and said that we probably want to advise the city commission that someone should be named in that role and what that role would look like. And it makes sense that maybe we help with that, but it's a bigger question that we're going to have to come back to and circle back to on that. In the meantime, for the Salmon Bench, what I understood our motion essentially meaning was that we didn't necessarily want to put more money and resources into trying to repair it at this point. Public Works has taken a look at it, and James is working with them to come back with a proposal on what they might be able to do to help fix some of the issues that we identified. He doesn't have a cost estimate or anything like that yet. It could be very simple, it could be more, but once that comes back, he'll share that with us. So that's why the Salmon Bench was on here, was just to communicate 2 pieces. One is for the bench itself, Public Works is looking at it. They're going to talk to James about what can they do, what can we do. And then
Now, this is going to be Public Works funding this. They're not going to be coming back to us and saying,
they could come back to us and say, we need you to put this into it. But James wasn't, 100% clear on that. Again, there's not much language out there around how this should be handled, which is why it's important that we maybe put together a recommendation for the city commission to consider is having someone manage it. Because there's a lot of things like, the statue that was destroyed at the, over here over here at the.
Seventh and Center.
Seventh and Center. Technically, it was not removed because we don't have a process for removing art from our inventory. Even though I don't even know where the statue is at this point, if
It
it's-
was completely destroyed. I mean, the
Yeah.
second time it got hit, it was way beyond repair.
But again, there's no one overseeing it and making sure that, like, you know, we have the proper coverage. A lot of other cities, they kind of have all their art assets in one collection and ensure that collection, so they do it certain ways. We just want to, I think there's a lot of benefits to having someone help manage it, making sure that new pieces of art do get incorporated and are tracked properly and whatnot. So I would recommend at some point in the future, we come back and have a conversation about it and see if we want to put forward a recommendation around that subject matter.
Okay.
Next up is update on the municipal code. And Mayor, any update on timeline for the municipal code and?
Asked the city manager to let me know when it was going to be on the work session agenda. Because
Okay.
he gave us a list 2 weeks ago and it is full. And then one of our commissioners, whose name will be unknown because, you know, it's a he, asked to put something else on there. And I said, I understand this is a priority, but we need to get this done. I told him to put it on as soon as possible. And
Okay,
if he has to bump something else down, bump it down.
Thank you.
thank you.
Yeah.
So I will stay on that.
I appreciate that, yeah.
Thank you.
And is that the same with like the letter of intent as well, that it's getting,
We basically gave a consensus at the work session that we said, yes, we supported it. It wasn't voted on officially. Do you want it voted on officially?
if the city commission doesn't feel like they need to vote on it officially, then we're happy to take the direction of, we'll move forward with what's proposed in the letter, which is communicate with the other groups and just keep a dialogue going and come back.
I think you can continue to do that now.
Yeah, okay.
Well, it just makes it official. So I appreciate that. And so
I
if
mean,
it's on,
we said at the work session, we supported.
then that's fantastic. What you also said is that
We didn't vote on it though.
I don't think a vote is important. I mean, this is really more, it was a courtesy for you guys than anything else.
It's a broad concept.
And it is. And so if y'all are fine with it, that's great. See, I lost my train of thought.
I'm gonna stop you there, we'll come back to it. Real quick, shared drive training. So, as I mentioned earlier, in the January meeting, I'm planning to have a couple different people from city staff come in and talk to us about different things. Finance team to talk about his budgets, and maybe some questions on the financial policies. Lawyers to come in and talk about municipal, open meeting laws and mural code and all that, just to refresh our minds on those rules. Having, is it Mike with IT?
Well, James actually asked me if I would meet with people, have Mike train me,
Okay,
rather than have Mike come to, and rather than take the time during an Arts Commission meeting to
Yeah.
go through that kind of training. So I'm gonna send out an email and, I will schedule times. We'll do like 1 or 2 sessions during the day, 1 or 2 sessions at night. And if people want, some,
and
a
you can
walkthrough.
wait until after the new members join, just to save
Sure.
yourself some time.
Sure.
May I make a suggested tip? If you want to get Mike to buy here, say that you're contemplating having an exhibit on Star Trek. He will be here in a hot minute.
Do that? I could do that just.
That's one of the secrets to his heart.
Last item was preview of future agenda items, so I think I made different comments throughout the evening tonight, but at the December meeting, we'll focus on the interviews. We'll come back and talk about the strategic document and where that stands. I also want to bring forward a proposal that Joyce has been kind of working with, and I owe you responses on that, but for the Art for Every Heart contest that she helped run last year, or basically did a lot of the running around last year for it.
Running around.
With Ann's support, to, ways we can improve that and look at how we can implement that for 2026. January, we're gonna do, like I said, the onboarding session, really focus on that. We also, one thing that I wanna do is have James talk to us about the enhancement grant. So I think the enhancement grant committee has been meeting to discuss how the the whole process will, maybe go back to what it was before or change a bit. Because we're eligible again this year to submit a application, I would like us to consider submitting an application, but I want to understand what the parameters are that we have to work within, so that way we can submit an application that meets that criteria. So I'd like him to talk about that as well at some point in the December or January meeting.
Simply, it's going to be moving towards something that you can see and touch, and it'll have priority.
Okay.
It's not that we're gonna eliminate all the other stuff, but obviously art is something you can,
Yeah, and I know there's rules about how much you can take from like administrative costs or what have you, and things like that have been discussed,
we
so I
change
just,
some of that as well.
yeah. Want to make sure we're all on the same page and understand before we decide how we want to move forward. So with that, that's the last of the communications. Are there any other items that someone wanted to bring up?
Should we bring the thing about the mural?
We can, sure.
Well, it's
Well, you
5
have
seconds.
to now.
So here's my suggestion. I would like to, meet with, Tima Carlson and ask Rebecca if she would be able to participate, and Ann, and sit down and talk to Tima about getting a different design instead of leaping salmon for the wall adjacent to the railroad. And there could be many different ways that could go, but I did kind of give her a heads up. She's on the DOCA board with me, and I said, we really need to talk about that, because we've kind of been salmoned to death in town. It's not, there's anything wrong with salmon, but I think that wall may lend itself to something else.
I will say I have received direct feedback from other organizations, actually some organizations that signed on to that project originally, saying that they were not necessarily thinking redoing another salmon piece would be the best practice, and they would rather see something else there. So there is I think a drive, not just within our group, but outside as well.
So as the chair of the Metro Enhancement Committee, thought maybe we could just sit down informally, and
If we can do that
because they're not even talking
sooner,
about painting the thing until July, so
Right.
let's try
Does it design-
to dial that in right after the first of the year.
I think so, I think so too, because I think Tima needs to be informed so she can be
Yeah.
planning. And, it takes a while to do a redesign, so
Well, it really wasn't finalized to begin with. It was a concept. That's what we got at Metro
Yeah.
Enhancement. And everybody's going, we want more detail.
But she
Yeah.
did submit a more, so I think, go ahead, Claire.
Would I be allowed to sit in on that, or that would be too many people? Because as an artist, and I have,
We're not gonna make any decision. We just want to talk to her about,
No, I understand.
let's move in a
no, I
different-
understand.
Yeah.
I just have,
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
oh, I don't know. Silly girl, I ain't talking to you.
I'm not talking to
I
her.
know, right?
If it's after
She just
January
decided to
1st,
turn
I
herself
can't,
on.
no, or I could, because I
you would
could,
be a
because it
citizen.
was
You would
an,
be a
I wouldn't be a member.
citizen.
that's true, just a citizen. Okay.
I mean, yeah, I don't know when the conversation will happen, but it sounds like we want to get something out to Tima so that she can prepare and be ready, because this has kind of lingered on a little bit. And
Do we need to send an email, or have you had a conversation with her and we just know
I
that?
had a heads-up conversation with her the last time she appeared at the DOCA board in person,
Okay,
which has been a few months back. She usually zooms in.
okay.
But Ann could,
yeah, I did have the chance, I reached out to her after I
Yeah.
talked with you. So what we're currently going to do is I'm gonna schedule a time for the second week in December with, the chair of the.
Yeah,
Right.
I don't
Um,
have a problem.
And hopefully with Anna, the artist, I think it's important that Anna be there as well. It is a long time away, but I don't know, some of it's kind of dialed, that the contracts, and she hasn't received any compensation yet, but the contract is ready, and so, but we will schedule a conversation for the second week in December.
yeah, one thing when I talked to Rebecca about that was, I don't want to take away anything from the artist who's already been, keep the same artist, but see if there's a different design.
But we, as a board, we don't need to send a letter or an email or anything
we're
at this
gonna go,
point.
it's informal,
Yeah.
it's
Great.
staff,
Okay,
Okay,
it's all of that. We already know that they're gonna have to apply for an extension.
okay,
So,
just
Let's-
want to clarify,
yeah,
make
just-
sure we
let's-
don't need
Let's
to.
just work through, let's just have a regular old conversation.
Okay.
We're not making any demands, we're just saying, you know, this is,
Well,
and it
because
was,
you
and it was
can't-
said at Metro Enhancement too, that like,
can't.
oh, are we doing salmon again?
Well, they can.
You know?
Oh,
Their enhancement grant, they can make that change.
I think the free speech stuff is gonna get.
No, because that's city wall, so we have proprietary say over the content of the wall. That's what lawyers told us last time they were here.
I didn't,
Yeah, it's a city wall, we can tell them what we want on there and not,
and it's public money.
yeah.
I get the money, but, okay, that's good news to me.
I did update that quad thing that I talked about once. I put it in, well, Rebecca started, and then I went in and I added some stuff to it. We'll share that out with people as well. We probably need to share it with legal counsel first, just to make sure they sign off on it, but it basically breaks down, yeah, public wall would fall within our purview to say how the content is, what the content is.
I'm sorry, I missed
That's why I
that.
said after the first of the year, that we don't have any problem, but if you want to make it safer, then let's do
Did
it.
we close?
Oh, we
So-
didn't.
else on the enhancement?
If there's nothing else, no other business, we will adjourn the meeting at 8:40. I thank you everyone for staying late. Thank you, Daria, for joining remotely.
Daria.
And everyone have a
When is
happy
Doria gonna do her
Thanksgiving.
slideshow of her trip?
I can put you on in December. Daria.
We want the highlights, we want the highlight reel.
So it's okay for you to go ahead.
Okay.
Good
Thank
job,
you,
Josh.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I would think so.